see how it goes.
Great.
Okay.
All right. I'm game.
So welcome back to Austin Public Library. I'm sitting here with our special guest today, Dave Kaplowitz.
Hello.
So one of the things that makes Dave special, especially in the library's eyes, is that Dave is what we call a social media ambassador of the library. The Social Media Ambassadors Program is an online group of library supporters who help us raise awareness of APL in the community. Shares, retweets, favorites, hearts, likes, reactions, these are the ways we ask our ambassadors to show their support for the library. Now, Dave, I want you to know that even though the goal of our Social Media Ambassadors Program is to raise awareness of the library, it's also a goal to raise the library's awareness of supporters just like you. So we're happy to have you here today, and we're looking forward to hearing your personal story and how that story brought you to us here today. So let's start as far back in the beginning as you are willing to take us. Where are you from?
It's a bit of a long story. It's a bit of a circuitous route for me to get to Austin, Texas. I was born in New Jersey, and then my family moved to Massachusetts when I was 5. Then when I stayed there through high school. When I graduated high school, I went to college in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That was 4 years. Then I wanted to move to California to see what life in the West Coast was like, since I was a Northeastern boy. And that didn't go that great. And so I sort of figured out I wanted to have a big switch and study music. The engineering thing wasn't really working, so I came to Texas, ended up coming to North Texas to study at what was called North Texas State at the time. It's now called UNT. That lasted a couple years, and I ran out of money and also realized that maybe the musician's lifestyle wasn't quite for me. But going to music school was an amazing experience, and it really brought my music to a new level. I went back to tech and kind of migrated south, figuring out that if I'm going to be in Texas, live music capital of the world is probably the place for me. So I kind of made it to Austin. I've been here for about 25 years, raised my 2 daughters here, who are both musicians, and they're off now living in New York. So, I love Austin. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
So tell us a little bit about your music. So when you and I were exchanging emails, you mentioned how you're a psychotherapist and a part-time musician.
Yeah, I'm in a band called In the Pocket. We play a few times a year, mostly at charity events, mostly for fun. I guess at this point in my life, I don't really have anything to prove with music. I just do it because I love it. So I don't really worry about the money. I just want to play music that I like. So I kind of have multiple musical personalities. I like all kinds of different music. Yeah, that's been an interest of mine for years.
So here's another question for you. How does Austin Public Library fit into your life?
Yeah, that's really why I'm here, right? Is to talk is because the Austin Public Library is such an important part of my life. The whole thing started when I was growing up. My mom was a voracious reader, and she was always going to the library. Always had something she was reading or multiple things she was reading, and she instilled that love of libraries and that love of books in me. But now I live on the east side, so Carver is my library, which I love. I know a lot of the people there. We'll chat about music or the day or the weather. They're super friendly at the Carver Library. I also like that it's part of Austin and history. They play movies there. To me, that's part of what community really is the library. And I think you guys have so many branches, which is really convenient for people. I think certainly the new library is going to be amazing, but not everybody really has access to that. But putting libraries in the neighborhood, to me, it's part of what the neighborhood is. And so I think since I'm a voracious reader right now, it's part of I read a lot of music biographies, so I'm reading a lot about David Bowie and Lou Reed and Iggy Pop. And it fits with both, what I like to read and the music. I mean, you guys have a really great collection of CDs that when I get interested in an artist that I may not have heard about before, I'll look it up and I'm like, wow, you guys have a great collection. When I was really starting to, I kind of, music for me goes in cycles, and so I got really into the Velvet Underground about a year ago, and you guys have an amazing, like some of the box sets that are really expensive to buy online. You guys have some great collections here. So I think it's mostly, yeah, so it's the CDs and books, but also you guys are definitely staying ahead of the game as far as things like music streaming. You have Hoopla now, which is a nice supplement to, I have Amazon Prime streaming, but they don't have everything. And I'll look on Hoopla, and that kind of service to me, it really says so much about what the library is doing and how current you guys are staying, and that you're consistently trying to upgrade your offerings to be relevant. And I think you guys do a great job in it. So I feel very honored to be a social media ambassador and do what I can there, as well as doing this interview right now.
What is it about Austin Public Library that motivated you to support us as a social media ambassador?
Well, that's a great question, Caesar. I think I really believe in giving back, and I think, Austin has just done so much for me. The library, I pay taxes, right? But the library gives back to me, and I don't think enough people utilize the library, and I do what I can to get the word out. And I think it's great that I think it speaks so much to how forward thinking you are that you even have a program like that. And in fact, when I posted some stuff, one of my friends that lives, I think, in Colorado, she said, "Oh, I'm really into our library here. Tell me more about, the social media ambassador program." And so I directed him to the website. I think you guys are really on the leading edge of things, and it's great. And I'm just happy to be a social media ambassador, and whatever else, I can do. I'm open to it.
Well, thank you for saying that. You clearly understand the importance and the power of social media. I know that the library does as well, and I think a lot of libraries out there understand it as well too. And it's a challenge in a way, as an organization, as a public entity, a public library, to leverage social media in an effective way, just because the world out there is so big and noisy and busy, and people can get tunnel vision in the sense that, they're focused on their lives, understandably. They're focused on their kids and their careers, and so when we started the program, the Social Media Ambassadors, it was just an effort to try to tap into and organize people who expressly support us on social media, and to hopefully communicate with these supporters all the different ways that they can, through social media, support and promote the library, and help us remind not just their family and friends and their networks all that the library offers. So we're really happy that you're a social media ambassador. Thank you. The last question I have for you is a fill in the blank, and the blank is, my library is...
I always like to trust my gut on these things. So what I'll say is, my library is one of my favorite places to go in Austin.
Enough said. Social Media Ambassador Dave Kaplowitz, thank you very much for being here with us today. If you listening to this podcast right now are interested in supporting the Austin Public Library as a social media ambassador, please sign up on the library's website at library.austintexas.gov/ambassador.